1950s, a group of wise men sat down in a room and shared a dream. A dream that they could unite Europe through the power of music. They created the Eurovision Song Contest. The expectations were huge and the show was an immediate hit. And already in 1957, we got our first juicy Eurovision scandal. The sexually liberated Danish people sent a couple that at the end of their song kissed! Get a room! Today we have Justin Bieber, but in 1958 we had the Italian heartthrob Domenico Modugno. And when he sang, the contest got its first massive hit. And they kept coming. France Gall, Vicky Leandros, and the handsome Udo Jürgens.
Merci.
You're welcome.
Merci.
Yes, you're welcome.
Merci.
You're welcome!
Für die Stunde.
In 1968, the contest went from black and white to color. According to my good friend Cliff, that was definitely something worth celebrating. In the 70s, the attitude towards Eurovision changed. Especially in Sweden, where people were protesting, saying the show was too commercial. Well, duh. Thank God the rest of Europe kept the show going, more colorful and more glamorous than ever.
Oh, baby, baby,
I love you.
I love my one piece.
Oui, mon amour.
The Eurovision was here to stay, and thanks to the wonderful, slightly over-choreographed Germans, the 70s ended with a bang. The elegant and sophisticated 70s were left behind as the Eurovision Song Contest flew into the dazzling 80s, when everyone just wanted to dance. Was like joining an aerobics class. The energy was high, but the taste level was low. Love your jacket. Thank God there were some ballads. Ooh, you missed a spot. There we go. But the 80s was also the decade when child labor was introduced to the contest. Excuse me, could I see some ID? Excuse me, little girl. Or boy. Then the 90s came, and people, well, they stopped dancing. Instead, the ethnic ballad was introduced. Yes, it was a decade of ballads, but one country kept dancing, loud and proud. It's Riverdance! In the new millennium, the Eurovision Song Contest opened up its doors to even more countries and cultures as the East came in to join the party. The East brought some well-needed energy back into the competition that we love so much. Today, the Eurovision is bigger than ever, and over 40 countries unite every year as one. The expectations were huge when the Eurovision Song Contest was born in 1956. And already in its second year, 10 countries competed, and the broadcast went as planned.
Und jetzt schreiten wir zur Abstimmung.
But the voting procedure proved more difficult than expected.
Hello, London. Hello, London.
Yes. Hello, Frankfurt. Can you hear me?
Hallo London.
Yes, hello. Hello. Could I email you the results?
Pardon?
Hello?
Good evening, London.
Good evening, Frankfurt. 2 points to song number 4.
Nummer 4-2. Chanson Nummer 4, 2 Punkte. Yes?
The Eurovision was an immediate success. Artists came from all over with one goal in mind: to win. Hey!
And now you really gotta speed it up, and then you gotta slow it down. Hallelujah.
Viva Victoria, Afrodita.
Every way that I can, I'll try.
Mama, I tried to hold you back, but you were stronger. Oh yeah.
For some artists, winning the Eurovision could mean the beginning of an international career. Like ABBA, Lulu, and the 20-year-old Celine Dion, who went on to sell over 250 million albums worldwide. But in this competition, one artist is actually bigger than both ABBA and Celine Dion.
What's another year?
Bloody Johnny Logan from Ireland. First he won in 1980, and then in 1987,
Hold me now.
and then again in 1992. But this time disguised as a woman. I recognize a drag queen when I see one. But winning isn't everything. The most important thing is participating. And of course, to go out with a bang.